everybody, I'm Kimberly Turner from cookingwithkimberly.com, and today I'm going to show you how to cook turnip greens. Now, you can buy turnip greens at your grocer or your market, or if you grew them like I did this year, you're going to have gorgeous, fluffy turnip greens. Now, I've picked my largest turnips because boy, did my turnips grow. It's end of summer, early fall here, and these guys are amazing. I'm afraid they're going to crack in the ground. So they're being taken out of the ground, and I'm going to paraffin wax them. Make sure you check out that tutorial on how to paraffin wax turnips. But in the meantime, you're not going to throw out your leaves. Your leaves are going to make a delicious side dish of turnip greens. If you've never had them before, they're a little bit bitter. They're a little just like greens are. They're really vegetal. They're very, very nice. Now, these guys don't take too long to cook, but they're kind of in between, say, I don't know, this is a rough estimate, between spinach and a harder, like maybe a kale green or mustard green or something of that nature. It's going to go in between there, okay? So I'm going to wash these eyes off really, really well, and I'm going to cut off these stems, and I'm going to rinse off these leaves really, really well. Sometimes there's little buggies on them and there's dirt. These guys come from the ground, so make sure you rinse them very, very well. And that's what I'm going to go do. So I've removed the leaves and the roots from one of the turnips, and that's pretty much what you're looking at if you're worried about it. So I'm going to rinse and repeat on this one. So you're going to take a sharp, sharp knife, and you're going to cut as close to that turnip without damaging it anywhere else as you can. Just take off those stems. Gorgeous. So now I've got all these beautiful stems. Now in my sink I have cold water. I want to actually submerge these guys because they can get kind of sandy and dirty, really sandy and dirty. So they're going to sit in there and they're going to rinse off. We need them really, really clean if we're going to cook them and eat them. Now I use a lot of large bath towels that are only used for the kitchen, and I use them for such a time as this, to dry off my greens, to dry off big giant vegetables, for my canning. I like to put my jars on them when I take them out of the canner because they're nice and hot on my countertop. But today I'm going to use them to dry off these greens a little bit better. They're in my sink. I'm going to take them out in a colander and bring them over here. This is like giant paper towels. All right. Now the water in the sink was quite dirty, and it's a good thing that we did what we did. Now you're going to find some have some leaves that look bad. Those go back into the compost or whatever. Don't use those. But you're looking for these bright, big, green, leafy leaves, okay? And that's what we're going to peel off of the stems. Now I'm just going to use a colander to help dry them off a little bit more as I go. So pick off all the leaves, all the way from the bottom of the stem to the top that look good, okay? Reserve the stems on the side so that you can put them in the freezer. You want them in somewhat bite-sized pieces so that when you're eating them, after they cook, they're not slapping you on the side of the face. They're so big. If there's any bits of the leaf that just doesn't look nice, leave them out. Now, turnip leaves are a little bit spiny. They've got little bitty pricklies on the back of the leaves. Not that they would hurt you, but just that you notice. It's like Velcro almost. When I'm picking them, I make sure that I use gloves because it can irritate you. That's for sure. It could be a little bit prickly that way. As they cook, the prickles kind of disappear. Now you want a really good amount of turnip greens because they wilt down so much. You can have a big giant pot overflowing like this, and by the time you're done, you only have a little layer like that. It's kind of like how spinach, it really will trick you into thinking you have a whole bunch in there. There's not really that much. So hopefully this should be enough for 3 people tonight for a side dish. If you need more, pick some more off. I've actually been very surprised at the wide variety of greens that my grocer is providing these days. It kind of surprised me. I really like greens, and I always have found that I need to grow them myself if I want to find them anywhere. So that's what I do, but it is nice to see that they're bringing in more produce than they used to. So I don't need to show you much more of these. You just take it off like you would lettuce off the middle rib, just like that, and then just rip them up. Doesn't have to be perfect, and I suggest tearing them instead of cutting them because it keeps it from wilting now and discoloring. If you tear between the cells as opposed to cutting them with it. They have a mild turnip smell, They're gonna be really nice. Okay, from those 2 large turnips, we got a huge colander full of the greens, and these are gonna go into a resealable plastic bag in my freezer. Okay, my turnip greens are ready, and you can use all different kinds of meat if you want to flavor this in a non-vegetarian way. We're doing that tonight, and I'm using some of my favorite stuff on the planet. This is a Dettweiler smoked pork sausage, and you can find this stuff at Harvest Barn Country Markets. There's 2 locations in Southern Ontario. One is in St. Catharines, and one is in Niagara-on-the-Lake, and I got this at the Niagara-on-the-Lake store. Now, Dettweiler sausage comes from Kitchener, I believe, but I'm happy that it's now at my market. Now, if you want more information about Harvest Barn online, check them out at HarvestBarn.ca. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slice these up into little chunks, and I'm going to preheat my pan first. I have a big soup pot here, and I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. You can use whatever oil you like. I'm going to use a little bit of butter. Now I use the olive oil with the butter because I want to increase the smoke point of the butter. This is going to go maybe a little hotter, and I don't want it to burn at all. So I'm going to fry up this sausage quickly, and then I'm going to let this turnip greens cook with it, with a little bit of liquid and some spices. Oh, this sausage is amazing. It's smoky, it's savory. There's no onion and garlic in here, which is really, really nice. And if you want more information about this, guys, make sure that you check out my review on Dettweiler's smoked pork sausage. Awesome stuff. Feel free to use more than one link if you like. If you don't have this available in your area, just get a nice smoky sausage. You could use kielbasa, you could use smoked turkey necks, you could use whatever it is that you like, ham even, bacon, whatever. Whatever kind of delicious meat you like. I like to stick with pork mostly. So we're just going to brown this up nicely. It'll only take a couple minutes. Okay, we're ready. Now I'm going to throw the turnip greens in, and I'm going to let them wilt a little bit in that beautiful fat that's rendered from the pork sausage with the olive oil and the butter. And then I'm going to use a little bit of liquid. Now, today I'm going to use wine. You can use chicken stock, you can use water if you like, you can use beer if you want. But today I'm using a 2012 Noble Blanc from Rancourt Winery. If you want more information on this wine, make sure you check out the review, okay? Or check them out online at rancourtwinery.com. So that's going to go in, and it's going to deglaze the pan. Any of the caramelized bits on the bottom are going to get all worked up. So in goes the turnip greens. It looks like a whole lot, but quickly it'll reduce down. So just stir that a little bit. These greens are already going to start deglazing the bottom of the pan. Vegetables are a very good deglazer. You want them to get mixed in with that gorgeous the grease, and just that quickly, it's half the size it was when I put it in. I'm going to let that wilt for just a second before I put the wine in. Now I'm going to add some freshly cracked pepper, some red chili flakes, maybe a 1/4 teaspoon, a couple mustard seeds, and some salt. Bear in mind, this is going to wilt down to only a couple of servings, so don't use too much salt because you'll be surprised how far it goes. The turnip greens are about 1/4 the way up the pot now, and I'm ready to add this liquid. We're going to add about 3/4 of a cup. Now, we're going to cover this up, and we're going to let it go. This is going to take, I don't know, I'm going to check it probably in about 10 minutes. I'm going to check it and just see how things are going. And it's going to be nice. The liquid's going to stay in there so it won't boil dry. However, don't be afraid of adding alcohol, because when you cook it, the alcohol dissipates and it goes away. And then you're left with the beautiful flavor of whatever the liquid that you were using, okay? So go on and try that. You'll like it, I promise. I'm also going to add about 1/4 of a teaspoon of sweet smoked paprika. If you've never tried smoked paprika, you're going to love it. It is beautiful. Now, La Chinata carries a line of smoked paprika. They have sweet, they have bittersweet, they have a hot variety, and they have premium varieties, I believe, in all 3 kinds as well. So check them out online at lachinata.com. Good stuff. It's going to give a little bit of a spice, and it's going to be really nice and smoky and make that nice and savory as well. It's going to give you that little bit of a southern feel that you're looking for when you're trying to make greens. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes for these guys. Beautiful. Now you can see that the caramelized juices have gone into that liquid. It's steaming up here with the gorgeous sausage. And let's just check for doneness here and see how much longer. Let's just check for doneness to see about how much longer it will take. And check for seasoning. Tasty. Okay, that's gonna go for a good another at least 20 minutes. So in they go. I'm gonna add a little bit more salt. So these turnip greens take somewhere between how long kale would take and collards. Collards are pretty thick. Now these guys are probably gonna go for a total of, I'd say 45 minutes or so. So I'm just gonna, for the last couple minutes here, peel a Macintosh apple. Any kind of apple will do. This is just a nice small apple. And that's gonna help sweeten up that bitterness a little bit. Sometimes greens can be a little bitter. And people that feel like eating the apple with it may, and if they don't want to, they don't have to. So I'm just going to quarter it so that I can take out the core and the stem. And then I'm going to slice that into probably 8. That way they stay whole for some people that want to take it out. A tad bit more butter. Stir it around, and this will be maybe another 8 to 10 minutes. If you're running low on liquid, just add a little bit more. Okay, we're taking this out of here. So as you can see, that whole big colander full of greens that I had made about this much. So that's going to serve 3 or 4 people tonight as a side dish. And you don't need a lot of this. It's really a great side dish. And if you're already going to be growing turnips and harvesting them, don't waste those leaves. You can still use them. The apples are going to be nice in here. That sausage is nice and browned. Fantastic. Let me give it a little try here. Now we're actually having a roasted curried whole chicken, and I know it doesn't really go together necessarily, but bitter greens, I guess, yeah, it does. Let's try them. They're great with that apple. That sausage is amazing. Beautiful dish. All together, fantastic. Try and get a little bit of each thing in each mouthful. Outstanding. That's how you do it. That's how you cook turnip greens. Super easy recipe. It just takes a little time to get them done. That's it. You can experiment with the different sausage. You can experiment if you want to put different kinds of apple in, different kinds of spices. Go right ahead. It's a little bit smoky. They're nice and bitter. They're coated nicely with a little bit of butter. They're salty enough. Everything is perfect. Now, turnips are on the more bitter side anyway, so just know that going into it, okay? All right, check me out. Follow me on Twitter at Cooking with Kim, E with a capital E. Like the fan page at facebook.com/cookingwithkimberly. My shows are on ifood.tv/cookingwithkimberly and youtube.com/cookingwithkimberly, as well as on Roku. My cooking site is cookingwithkimberly.com. Come check me out and subscribe. Let me know what's going on in your culinary world. Be a champion in your kitchen and eat deliciously. Bye.